Welcome to the Rewind Project. Today we are hitting the rewind machine back to 1986. So 40 years ago in the world. I was a sophomore in high school. So this is still very like I was aware of what was happening in the world, but I never saw the movie that we're going to talk about today. So we'll get to
Woohoo!
that in a moment. But let's get to just kind of setting ourselves a little bit in 86. Some things that happened in 1986, the Chernobyl power plant disaster, with a reactor exploding and releasing radioactive material across the whole of Europe and making the nearby town of Pripyat. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly.
I saw the
Uninhabitable.
show on HBO. I think that's right.
Okay.
Prior prep. I don't know. It's
Anyway, it's Eastern European. To this day, this is Chernobyl is the worst nuclear accident in the whole of human history. It really was terrible. And when I was growing up, it was just like, see, this is why nuclear energy is bad, 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 and we should never ever use it. Um, Another thing that happened this year, now interestingly, it is a core Gen X trauma
Mm.
that when the space shuttle Challenger flew off, every kid in America was watching it live on television in their classrooms and watched all those people die live. And some teachers dealt with that better than others. Like a lot of teachers was like, okay, and turned the TV off and said, everyone take out your books. And all these kids were like, wah, wah, wah. I happened to be stationed in Hawaii that year. My dad was stationed in Hawaii. I was a Navy kid. So it happened before we went to school. I actually watched it on TV
oh
before
yeah.
I went
Oh.
to school because of the time zones. And so when we got to school, we were all talking about it, but the plan was never for us to watch it live in school with a TV that was wheeled into the room and plugged into the back. Anyway, but that is something that if you ask anyone else from my generation, they will tell you about the time that they watched the space shuttle blow up live on television in school with usually really bad teachers who did not know how to help
Well,
kids get over that
I
moment.
mean, we didn't deal with school trauma in school. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there
Yeah,
was no such
I
thing as
mean,
trauma in the 1980s.
exactly, exactly.
I was
I
in
mean,
second
so
grade. So you can imagine. I have distinct memories of sitting in my classroom and they wheel in the television on the cart and we were all like, what just happened? Like it just was. My brain wasn't quite there yet in terms of like connecting all the dots. So yeah, it was definitely. But I do remember it for sure.
I,
yeah,
I
yeah,
do think though that it is instrumental in shaping our generation to understand that anything can go wrong. So just be
hmm
prepared. Like shit doesn't always go
yep.
right. Like, and that I think that's part of why we all think that.
Exactly. And then the other thing that happened that year was that in the Philippines, President Ferdinand Marcos fled the country after ruling with an iron fist for 20 years. And his wife and her closets full of shoes. Imelda Marcos was, the woman of 10 million shoes.
I couldn't
Um,
imagine fleeing in any of those shoes. They were all beautiful, but not really meant for running.
well, she probably had a couple of trainers in with all of the heels and pumps that she had collected. She did have millions and millions of shoes. The top song of the year, getting into the pop culture of 1986, the top song of that year was a super group of sorts. Dion and Friends, Dionne Warwick, Elton John, Gladys Knight, and Stevie Wonder got together to sing "That's What Friends Are For."
It sounds like a Saturday morning cartoon.
Right? And was it for a movie or so? I don't even remember what, or was it for like AIDS research or something? I
I
mean,
don't
there was something about that song. It was like it didn't just, these four people didn't gather for just any I don't remember what it was for, but something
yeah.
brought them together. Anyway, sweet little song, but a little treacly, watch your diabetic, you know,
I like
stats
that song. I
when you
like this
listen to
song.
That's What Friends Are For. Anyway, it's
That's
fine.
what friends are for.
Tops at the box office in 1986. The number three movie of the year was Platoon.
I've never seen that movie.
Dark, dark. I mean, it is the like, we're finally ready to tell the truth about Vietnam
Mhm.
movies. And a bunch of them came out, like Full Metal Jacket came
Good
out.
Morning Vietnam.
Platoon. Good Morning Vietnam was on the lighter side because I mean, again, that
Okay.
was Robin Williams. At least he was making people laugh. But yes, even in that movie, it's like
Yeah.
Vietnam was hell. I
Mhm.
mean, Apocalypse Now came out quite a time before, so it's not like we had never had this conversation before, but there was like this weird rash of Vietnam movies
Mhm.
that came out in the mid 80s, and this was one of them. On the lighter side, Crocodile Dundee was the number 2 film
I love that
of the
movie.
year.
That's
Weirdly,
not a knife. This is a knife. I quote that on a monthly basis.
weirdly still holds up. I mean, I watched Crocodile Dundee not too long ago, and it was like not a bad movie. I mean, all
Yeah.
things told.
Yeah.
At number 1, I would say this is probably a bit of an overrated movie for me, except for one particular scene on a volleyball court. Top Gun was the top film of the year. That volleyball scene I can watch on repeat. Everything else,
I love Top Gun. I could like script you the entire script of Top Gun. I've probably seen it like 20 times. And I really like the sequel too. And I just read that they're coming out with a third. So
okay.
I had never seen Top Gun until like last year. I watched it because the sequel came out, and I was like, I should probably watch both these movies. So I haven't watched the sequel yet, though. The first one
sequel's
was
actually really good.
Okay.
It was really good. I saw it twice in the movie theater.
Oh wow!
I know. It was good. I'm a sucker. See also F1. I'm a sucker for like a big movie star, big movie, lots of like good soundtrack. A movie you don't have to think about like that. I'm a sucker for like a summer popcorn movie for sure.
Like Days of Thunder or something like that.
Yeah. Well, maybe not. I don't know. I don't know. But like a big popcorn movie, like Independence Day or like Men in Black. That just is like a fun summer movie. I love it. I love a fun summer movie. So.
I'm not against a big fun summer movie, but Top Gun to me wasn't as fun. Again,
It was kind of dark, when you think about it.
Yeah. Poor Goose.
Poor
Goose.
Poor Anthony Edwards.
But again, let's just watch the volleyball scene all night. That's fine with me.
I'm not mad at that either.
Oscar winners of 87 honoring the films of 86 got nowhere near the movie we're about to just talk about. But Best Picture was Platoon, which was also weird because, again, remember, that was a big hit, right? That was the third biggest movie in the box office. Also took Best Picture, also took Best Director for Oliver Stone. Marlee Matlin was the first deaf actor to ever win an Oscar for her role in Children of a Lesser God.
Never seen that movie.
And Paul Newman finally got his Oscar for The Color of Money. This is one of those that, like, this was probably not the crowning moment of his career, but it was oh my God, give that man an Oscar. Jesus Christ. Long enough. I mean, it was one of those justice Oscars that just kind of like no one else had a prayer because.
Is that Tom Cruise too?
Oh yeah.
Color of Money?
But it was also
Pool Sharks?
they are. It's a sequel to The Hustler. Also starring Paul Newman when he was a young hot stud, and kind of Tom Cruise has the Paul Newman role, and Paul Newman is playing the same guy he was in The Hustler. So that's maybe a fun double feature that you might want to look at. Let's watch The Hustler and The Color of Money back to back. Could be an interesting thing to do on a rainy Sunday someday.
Welcome to the Rewind Project, where Allie, Matt, and Eric take another look at your favorite milestone movies through the lens of our present day. Will it be a skip, rent, or buy? Stay tuned and find out.
All right, kids, we are back. 1986, baby. I am very excited to talk about this movie. It was kind of a big childhood movie for me, which is kind of funny when you think about the content of it. But we are going to be talking about Jumpin' Jack Flash today. Not the famous Rolling Stones song, though it does make several appearances in this movie. But the movie starring a very young, very funny Whoopi Goldberg. This movie was
I have to say, wait, very young, very funny, very pretty Whoopi Goldberg.
Gorge.
Like, I was just like, I mean, I guess Whoopi's just been in our life for so long, and now she's on The View, and we think, oh, she hasn't aged a day. Well, she has, ladies and gentlemen. She's in her 60s. So when she appeared on screen, I was like, oh my God.
Luminous,
she's
right? The
lovely.
skin, everything. Yes. Yeah.
And I've seen a lot of memes recently that are like, how did Hollywood convince us that Janine Garofalo was ugly, and why did we believe them? Because you look back and she's absolutely gorgeous, and I feel the same way about Whoopi here. Anyway, just wanted to throw that in.
Yes. And no lies. So this movie was written by like 9 people, which we're going to get into later. Is never a good sign, ever. But I'm just going to list them out. David Franzoni, J.W. Melville, Patricia Irving, Christopher Thompson, Nancy Myers was in there for some rewrites. A couple other people. It was a lot of screenwriters. I feel like it's like when you go to a restaurant and they have like too many menu items, and you're like, this is probably not a great restaurant. That's what I feel about like the writing of this movie. I think it was funny, but like I'm sure it was a work to get there. And directed in her directorial debut by one Ms. Penny Marshall.
Wow.
Really?
Yep.
I didn't realize it was a directorial debut. That's hard to say, by the way.
Directorial debut. Yeah. So, and I mean, I wish that Penny Marshall and Whoopi Goldberg had made 800 different movies, because I think that they're kind of the dream team together. The two of them, they kind of have the similar sensibilities, I would feel, on a set. But yeah, so very exciting. I mean, she was not the first pick to direct, but she's here and she ended up directing it. Okay, notable achievements. It was a movie that was made.
You were up there on that screen doing a movie. Whoopi,
it was a movie. You know what? It went through all the machinations, right? It takes a lot of things to get a movie, right? Made in Hollywood. So it was made, it was marketed, it was out there in the screens. And it was also nominated for an MTV Movie Award. I forget which one. I didn't write it down, but
okay.
I forget. It was it was before the movie award, so it was a video award. So one of the songs, I think. Who knows? Okay. Look it up, kiddies. Go to Wikipedia. Okay, the plot: an American computer whiz. It's very funny. We'll talk about all of the like 1986 computer situations. Who works at a New York bank is suddenly thrust into the world of international espionage after she inadvertently receives a coded message from a British spy.
Okay, here's my question about the plot. While I was watching, I was a Jumpin' Jack Flash virgin, by the way, watching it for the very first time this week. Why was she so convinced that this mystery person on her screen was one of the good guys? I was like,
great question.
They're abandoning you in Eastern Europe. Maybe you deserve to be abandoned. And yet her faith in him was never questioned.
No.
Clearly there were things going on within MI5 and the CIA and da-da-da-da. And I'm like, why do we know that this person she's talking to is a good person who deserves to be rescued? I never got that. Like, I was waiting. I was like, if this was a darker movie, the twist would be that, you know, Jumpin' Jack Flash was a Russian who was trying to break into the U.S.
It's because cynicism wasn't invented until the 1990s.
Got it. Got it.
I mean, you could, and we'll talk about this because I have a feeling this is maybe where your opinion might be going, Eric, is that I feel like this was sort of billed as a romantic comedy. So, you know, you can't end up with a KGB agent in 1986. I mean, you can't really do that in 2026 either, but you know.
Okay, let's go ahead and talk about this now.
Let's talk about it, because I have thoughts as a person who watched this as like a young teen. So the imprint it made on me is, I'm sure, very different than it did on you.
Oh my God. I loved this movie. I mean, we'll get to the end, and I'm not a skip on a spoiler alert, not a skip on Jumpin' Jack Flash. I really enjoyed it. But for me, I'm watching this thing, and yeah, Terry, who is played by Whoopi Goldberg, doesn't have the most exciting life, clearly. Her coworker thinks that she needs to go date, and her coworker is about the saddest depiction of a single woman I've ever seen, who dates these clearly losers and puts all of her faith in them. And I'm like, okay, so I think the movie's telling me, well, don't do what she's doing, but find some other way to find purpose in your life. So she ends up doing all this spy stuff, and then she ends up saving the day, and she's a huge hero. And I was like, okay, great. That's a very lovely, positive. But as it turns out, no, she didn't do any of this to become a self-actualized, better person with a purpose in life. She did it to get a dude. And the only reason she's getting a round of applause at the end of a literal standing ovation from her entire office is because it seems like now she has a boyfriend. I was so like, what the fuck am I watching? I loved the movie. I loathed the last 30 seconds of this film. What the fuck are you all doing? Anyway, that's my soapbox on Jumpin' Jack Flash.
I understand that. Now, I watched this movie again, 11, 12. I was young, right? And as a woman, you're always fed that sort of fantasy of a white knight, quite literally, probably coming in on their horse and rescuing you. And it's especially as a child of the 80s and 90s, like that is what was drilled into your brain. So I 100% see that side of it. I will say, watching this even as a 48-year-old woman, many, many years later, when he comes in and and he is so grateful and so lovely and so Jonathan Price, which we'll get into. I still was very like, oh my goodness, and I am a very like ultra. I'm a single woman. I am proud to be a single woman, but I'm telling you, I think it just imprinted on my brain, and of course, everything that I grew up with imprinted on my brain. But I 100% see what
Yeah.
he's see what
And
he's
we'll just refer to this as the hocus pocus syndrome, because anybody who saw Hocus Pocus as a child loves it. Anybody who saw it as an adult is like, what the hell
I
is this
hate it.
dumb, stupid movie?
Yeah.
And that's just, and it has nothing to do with the film. It has everything to do with where you were when you saw it for the
Yep.
first time and what kind of imprint it left on you. I can totally get how Jumpin' Jack Flash would have impacted me a whole lot differently as an 11-year-old
Right.
who wasn't jaded about relationships and this whole thing about how he's been words on a computer screen. I'm sorry, I give this relationship about 2 weeks,
Oh, for sure.
but we're supposed to believe it's a happily ever after because that's what I mean, I'm in my 50s. That bullshit. I mean, I hated the ending. And I don't even mind that they're going off on a date to see where this goes. That's cool. But the idea that like it was the standing ovation
Uh-huh.
because Terry has a boyfriend. Thank God. Finally. Fuck all of you with something hard and sandpapery. Okay.
Matt, any thoughts?
Well, okay, this is like most, like not most, but like a lot of films in the 80s. This has a very thin plot, and it's just meant to be a fun popcorn film. That's all this is. I mean, the whole
And it
like, her
was.
breaking into the British embassy and like stealing secrets and stuff. Come on, that entire scene was just bananas kooky, doesn't make sense, but was fun to watch and was funny. Like,
Absolutely.
so
But to me, that's the whole thing, is that she is not sitting in her apartment with her
pining
2,000 layers of pajamas on, wondering what the hell she's doing with her life. She's out there doing something exciting and living. Again, this movie could have been, I believe, just as satisfying and fun and entertaining at the end without insulting every single person in the world.
So then to improve the ending, really what we should have done is had Peter Kane should have ended up recruiting her for the CIA. And that would have made a much better film.
Right.
Or giving her a medal for meritorious service above and beyond the call of duty of a civilian. Or I mean, the last scene could have been, Ronald Reagan, giving her like the Presidential Medal of Freedom.
A call from the Queen, right? A call from Queen
Elizabeth. Or a call from the Queen would have been even better.
Yeah.
Being a dame of the British Empire and just like, you don't even see her face, but you see the little scepter on either side of her. Like something like that would have been super fun. And guess what? Jack Flash could have been there cheering her on, going, yay, you. And that would have been cute.
Mm-hmm.
But this, like, literally, and it wasn't even the fact that the standing ovation. Come on. Come on. And not for saving the world, for landing a dude.
Well, I mean, she saved his life, and maybe they were just clapping because, you know what, hey, you saved this guy's life, and now he's gonna, treat you to a dinner.
Nice try. But no.
I was gonna take you home
they
and
were
rail
clapping.
He's gonna show his appreciation. Yes, he is.
He's got a scepter too, god damn it.
He's got a nice apartment, Okay, moving on to this cast. Starring, of course, Whoopi Goldberg as Teresa Terry Doolittle. This is my favorite Whoopi role. This supersedes Sister Act, this supersedes Ghost, this supersedes everything. And again, maybe because it was the first Whoopi movie I ever saw. I don't know. I think she is absolute perfection in this movie. She's so fucking funny. I have never laughed so hard. The last third of the movie, to me, is the funniest part of it all. And I had remembered some quotes when I was watching it. And I remember saying, like, saying to people, I haven't probably said it in a while, but when she goes to the phone booth, she's like, I'm just trying to reach out and touch someone. And I don't know, I like almost fell off my couch. I was laughing so hard. And I will say that there is not a lot these days from the comedies that I am receiving, that I am watching in 2026, that made me laugh as hard as the last part of this movie, for sure. She's a genius. She just is.
Well, her charisma on screen, it just
So
like it carries a movie. It really does. That's the reason she's as big of a star as she is. I mean, she even in the scenes where she's just sitting there in the office late at night talking. I mean, we hear not Vincent Price, Jonathan Price.
That'd be a very different movie.
That would be a very different movie.
We hear Jonathan Price's voiceovers, but really, she's the one on screen carrying that entire scene. And she does every single time. You're engaged in the movie and you're just kind of like locked on. And it's really just one person on screen the entire time. She has so much charisma.
So in 1985, I went to go see in the theater The Color Purple. And that is, to me, I mean, it's a very different role than Whoopi has ever played,
since probably, right?
Since. I mean, she's done some dramas, but nothing as deep and affecting as that. So that to me, what's your favorite Whoopi role? Okay, it's The Color Purple, but even though it was her debut, that's an anomaly in her career. I remember Jumpin' Jack Flash came out, and it was kind of like the story that was kind of, and I was again a teenager, and so I was absorbing some of can Whoopi Goldberg be a movie star? Mm-hmm. This is her follow-up. Let's see. And it just, for whatever reason, I was just like, that framing, like, I didn't like it. I wasn't excited about seeing a fun, entertaining movie. It was more like, this is a test. Mm-hmm. And so it never, like, it didn't even appear as something I really wanted to see. And so even this week, I was like, I'm finally getting around to seeing this movie that I've never really, and I really loved it. I mean, it was really fun. And I was like, why didn't anybody tell me how much fun this movie was?
That's
no one ever told me.
I'm here to tell you how funny it is.
Thank you. I mean, I owe you a debt, Allie Jenkins, because I had no fucking idea.
Yeah. I think it just, and again, we can get into this later, but it sort of got very bad reviews. It made some money, not a lot of money. It was kind of, people didn't really like it. It was sort of a flop. It's gained a little traction on, it was kind of like a movie of the week type of movie. Maybe you would see it on TBS, whatever, on, 10 o'clock at night on a rainy Sunday. So I think it just and again, with Color Purple and then, Ghost coming out a few years later, I just think it kind of gets lost in the oeuvre of Whoopi, basically.
Well, and Ghost was the most ridiculous Oscar win ever, because she absolutely deserved it for The Color Purple. That was a travesty of justice. And she never would have been nominated for Ghost had she had an Oscar at home the way she should have. That was just a silly moment. But, the world deserves to say Oscar winner Whoopi Goldberg. Correct. So they just had to give her a statue.
Yeah. I mean, I hate Ghost, but that's a story for another time. Don't at me. I'm sorry. I don't like it. I mean, I like her, but like that movie is dumb. Okay. Moving on to, it is. Fight me. Stephen Collins, also known as the Reverend Father from Seventh Heaven, as Marty Phillips, who is not who he seems.
I knew he was not who he seemed the moment he started.
Of course you did.
Yeah. I mean, that didn't, everything. Well, and then it was absolutely confirmed when he showed up to pick her up at the police station. By the way, Gary Marshall has my heart for all time. I mean,
love him so much.
and if it's a penny movie, Gary's going to show up somewhere. And thank God for Gary Marshall. I love him. But when Stephen Collins showed up in that scene and really went above and beyond to rescue her from that, exactly, I'm like, okay, we're gonna find out what the fuck's up with Marty before this movie is over, and we certainly did, and that was fun.
I mean, yeah, I wasn't sure though if he was gonna be like a counter agent or whatever. Though I could not remember the film, and he was the one that I was referring to. Like he should have made her a CIA agent because like he basically lets her run around by herself to solve this case for him. I guess he must be lurking in the shadows somewhere to make sure she's okay. But like he's never helping her out until the very end, where he's like he joins in the shootout. So like,
he keeps her out of jail
the entire time.
He keeps her out of jail, and he checks up on her after her apartment has been
I guess, but I would think the CIA would be a little bit more hands-on.
No. Have you watched Homeland? The CIA does not give a shit about regular
Fair.
civilians. Trust and believe. I also thought he was a good straight man, right? You got to have a straight man to Whoopi, and he was a pretty
Yeah.
solid straight man.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, next up is
Good looking
John.
without being distractingly good
Right.
looking.
Yes,
Yeah.
correct. Like 80s good looking, like that
Yeah.
sort of that like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
floppy hair sort of way.
hmm
80s good looking. People will know when I say that. They know what I'm talking about. Okay, next up as John Wood as Jeremy Talbot. I'm not familiar with John Wood, but in my little bits of research, quote unquote, that I did, apparently he does play the big baddie quite a bit in his career. And I just went onto his Wikipedia page, and he has quite a prolific career, tons of TV and movies, and
Yeah.
so. But
Stock British actor.
Yep.
You've seen him in a million things and didn't even know it. Yep.
Yeah.
You kind of know that he's going to be the big bad, like the first time you meet him in the consulate. It makes sense throughout the rest of the film. So yeah.
Well, you know that something's going on when she's photographed leaving the embassy after being told, you've been fed a line of horseshit and there is no such department and we don't know what you're talking about. But thanks for stopping by. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. I mean, look, there's not a lot of subtlety in this movie, so
Yeah.
which is not necessarily a bad thing, but yeah, I mean, you're gonna get hit over the head with some of the plot points.
Yes.
Next up, Carol Kane as Cynthia. coworker and
Excuse
friend.
me. Underrated national treasure, Carol Kane.
Correct.
as
She can
Cynthia.
do no wrong. Actually, her and the next person we're going to talk about can do no wrong.
Yes,
So
totally. Who I'm surprised they were in the same movie because they play the same character type a lot.
a lot.
Carol Kane got that character in this one. The next one, anyway, we'll
Yeah.
get there.
Carol Kane, if you're not watching Strange New Worlds, is fucking delightful on that show. Star Trek Strange New Worlds. She's amazing.
Is
She's
it an episode
absolutely
if Matt
delightful.
doesn't bring up some sort of obscure Star Trek show that I've never heard of in my entire life?
Obscure.
To me, it is. I'm not, you just said Strange New Worlds. I've never heard that phrase in my entire life. I have no idea what you're talking about.
One of the best new live action Star Treks there is. It is absolutely beautiful.
The fact that there are so many live action Star Treks, but this is the best, that says something.
You can skip the rest, just watch Strange New Worlds.
Okay, next up, another fun, quirky, little less quirky in this role, which I kind of enjoyed. Annie Potts as Liz Carlson, another sort of spy wife, but ends up being like a real friend to Whoopi.
Generally don't see her in a mousy role, like, because even on Designing Women, she was a much more strong woman. This was an interesting character.
Yeah.
For her.
I kind of forgot that she was in this.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she's not a scene stealer in this at all. I wouldn't have described her as mousy. I thought she looked lovely. She just didn't have a funny voice or kind of a quirky aspect to her. She just seemed like a normal person, I mean, and I guess that's probably her real speaking. But I mean, I honestly thought after I saw Ghostbusters that that's how Annie Potts talked.
Agreed, 100%, because I think that's probably the first movie I saw her in.
Yeah, and then when I saw her in Designing Women, I was like, oh, well, which one is her real voice? Neither, Eric. Neither.
She's a character actress.
Yes, I think she acts for a living, actually, Eric.
That's funny. One thing I didn't mention on here is that I thought it was hilarious because I guess I'm sure Whoopi probably brought them in. Were the number of SNL guest stars in this movie? John Lovitz, Phil Hartman, just a lot of like your core 80s Saturday Night Live cast was in this movie, which is another nice treat. I always, I miss Phil Hartman all the time, and it's always nice to see him. So
was Jim Belushi an SNL person too?
He was. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Oh yeah, and he's like a weird bad guy. It's like a hapless bad guy,
weirdly incompetent. Yes.
Did he work for the British consulate? I could not figure out what his role was.
I think he worked for that guy that looked like
the blonde guy.
The He-Man.
Yeah,
looking guy.
He was a KGB plant or a mole. He was an American, but he worked for the KGB. Yeah.
See, when you say blonde Bob, you know exactly what I'm saying when I say.
I know.
He has that kind of hair. If Thor was a thumb, that's this guy. And then last but not least, because I love him so much, I'm sure that I've told this on the podcast, but I saw this person as Fagin and Oliver on the West End in London, and it is one of the greatest shows I've ever seen. Jonathan Pryce, veteran Broadway, West End actor, the Sparrow in Game of Thrones, among many, 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 many other things. I love him so, so much. And this is where my Jonathan Pryce lore started. This was before I knew, before he was in the Saigon, all that stuff. So he plays Jumpin' Jack Flash himself. He is the voice, and obviously at the end. And I don't know what to say. I love him. That's all.
I mean, I will say at the end, I remember when this movie came out, even though I hadn't seen it, I did hear some of the talk of, oh, and when the hero finally shows up at the end, he's so normal looking. Like
Very true.
he's not, it's not like, I mean, this is before Brad Pitt, obviously, but it's not like a Brad Pitt, Tom Cruise type that you would expect as a super spy. It ended up being this kind of normal looking British dude. Okay, and how that was celebrated by everybody, and that was like so great. It's kind of funny now that he's such a huge star
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
because it's still like, that's Jonathan Pryce. I mean, it still feels like stunt casting, even though at the time Jonathan Pryce did not have a name, at least in American pop culture. No one knew who the hell he was.
It's weird. I mean, I maybe didn't intend to use the word hero, but like I really feel like Whoopi was the hero in the movie.
Oh, she's totally the hero.
Yeah.
It's just some weird.
Yeah. But he's like this super spy kind of, guy who,
Can't get himself out of it.
well, he can't, but you know what? He has a special frying pan in his oven with the names of his colleagues carefully etched into. He's very clever.
Yeah.
I mean, he has, although I will say, as soon as it said "sing with me and find the key," I'm like, get the sheet music and get the key. Like that was not as much of a genius move as I thought they made it out to be in the movie. That was pretty obvious to me. But anyway,
Just gonna say Ethan Hunt probably could have done it himself without help.
I made but that's it. But it's not Tom Cruise. It's a totally normal looking
Fair.
who is probably a better spy than someone who is incredibly
course.
good
I was just
looking and
about to say
makes
that,
heads
yeah.
turn
Sure.
whenever they walk into a room. So that
That's
actually
why I think I would be a good spy, right? Like I'm kind of ordinary, right? Just kind of living my life, whatever. I mean, I don't know that I could do the things that they do, but I don't know. I always felt like I would be a good spy.
Allie, don't blow your cover.
I know. I'm not a spy. It's not sponsored by the CIA.
I would be a terrible spy. I would be an awful spy.
I think I would be. I don't know. I mean, I'm a good like chameleon. Like I mean, I'm charming, so like I feel like I get in there. Yeah. Who knows? Who knows? I mean, I would not be great with like the torture aspect of it because like, my pain threshold is low. But okay. Talking about spies, not about me being a spy, but spies in general. In an era of history where there were probably no Black female spies or people involved who were Black or Black females involved in the CIA, and really Black females were not much of anything right now at this point in Hollywood. How do you feel about the casting of Whoopi in that kind of role?
Well, she wasn't a spy. I mean, she was a computer girl at
but
the bank.
spy adjacent, I guess we could say.
Yes. I mean, she became a spy through, and so in that regard, I thought it was perfect because it was one of those like, look, she's incredibly competent. She's more competent than some of the career KGB people she runs across. So I thought that was really cool. And I think for a movie like this, the most important thing is that she's funny, which she obviously was. So that worked.
Yeah, she made the perfect unlikely hero because you weren't expecting it. You're not expecting her to succeed. I think because of the way we're kind of wired, and especially in the 1980s. So this was great. I think this is amazing. So,
yeah.
And I love the way they framed her at the beginning, that she wasn't beloved at work, but they put up with a lot of her eccentricities because she's so good at what she does.
Correct.
And so there was already a little bit of like, it wasn't that she was, getting employee of the year for the third year in a row, which is where they could have framed her at the beginning if they wanted us to believe, okay, she's a computer whiz. What I loved is that she was kind of eccentric and kind of even a little weird. And her boss didn't really like her, but put up with it because she's so good at her job.
Right. And I mean, a lot, coming in and her outfits, and I'm like, man, you really had like dressed the nines in the 80s. I was shocked at like her coming in like her red red
Oh
sneakers
yeah.
and, you know.
No blazer, no
No.
pussy bow, no
Uh,
none of that, 80s corporate
no.
female uniform shit. God, it
Which
was so
I
horrible.
love, but it definitely was like, I mean, that would have been probably the
Yeah.
first thing, that they
Yeah.
would have commented on. So as I mentioned, there's like 8 writers or whatever, a million writers. Apparently this is one of those movies where they were like rewriting things on set as the movie was being shot. Could you tell? Like, did it feel that way?
It all
Did you
held
like,
together. I mean, all the
yeah,
pieces that they introduced, they ended up coming. I mean, like Archer Lincoln came back.
right,
That wasn't just something that was dropped in there and then never. All the threads were picked back up. And again, not Ibsen. It's just a
right.
funny, entertaining movie, so it all worked for me. It was fine.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things with '80s comedies. I don't think they have to be completely with a complete line through. I mean, a lot of it was just there for sight gags and jokes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it didn't bother me.
yeah, it's fine. Yeah, like Eric said, it's not Ibsen, so like you're not expecting everything to land the way that you would hope for.
No, and I don't generally notice those things. And honestly, like before I started researching this episode, I didn't realize that. I just thought it was a movie that was, that was funny. It was probably a funny script, and I didn't realize that it was kind of like, but behind the scenes, it was kind of
But
all over the place.
comedies do require a tone, right? I mean,
Right.
where a lot of comedies lose me is like I'll say this. This is my forever take about Bros. Did you see Bros? Billy Eichner and
Mhm.
I did. And I was I saw it with you, actually. I saw it with both of you.
yeah. Okay, we were all there. We
And
can
you were
edit that
there,
out.
and you were there,
And you were there, and you were there. To me, that movie didn't know what kind of comedy it wanted to be.
That is correct.
It was a sweet romantic comedy one moment. It was a shocking, weird, almost absurdist comedy the next moment. It didn't have a tone that held it together. So that is a problem when you have this one was just the tone was frenetic Penny Marshall comedy meets Whoopi verbal stylings, funny, you know, it worked and it was constant the entire time. So whether or not they had a million writers, I bet Whoopi did a lot of ad-libbing
I'm
in what she was
sure. A lot
doing
of improv.
because
I'm sure.
it was so much it felt like it was written for her voice, and so it was probably a lot of that went on, which again helped keep the tone really consistent throughout. I had no problem with the committee that worked on this particular screenplay. I bet a lot of those rewrites went out the window because
Probably.
it's like, oh, we thought we were going to have, I don't know, Goldie Hawn in this role, and it's like Whoopi Goldberg is a very different entity to be working with, and so let's build this around Whoopi. And
There
they
is a
just
fun
did.
Although about who the script was written for in the first place, so
Okay,
you might be shocked about
it's
that.
not Goldie. I didn't ruin anything, did
No,
I?
no, you didn't. No.
Okay,
no,
it's not
no.
Goldie. Although Goldie Hawn could have done this. I'm
She
just going to say.
absolutely could have done this.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you feel? It's interesting because obviously in the 80s, it was, we were like in the middle of the Cold War, getting lost in a Soviet bloc country for a spy. I'm sure it was a real thing, maybe still today, but the tenor was a little bit different in the 80s. Do you feel like that would like dropping the plot in like 2026 where there's like different kinds of spies? Like, do you think that changed anything? Just the fact that there was always that heightened awareness around. I mean, this is not a geopolitical thriller.
No,
so.
it's not. And today, that same spy would have been trapped in the Middle East, and it would have been the same movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's shorthand, like so that the audience actually is like caught up to speed in what's going on, especially in the '80s, because that was the Soviet Union was always the big bad. Like, look at any of the movies, like Spies Like Us and stuff like that. It's always the Soviet Union.
Yeah, in that time, war games, etc. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just because I'm nosy, do you guys like spy movies? I love a spy movie.
Yes.
I do. I find my favorite spy movies, though, when I was when I was preparing for the game that we're going to play later, and I was thinking about spy movies, I really like spy comedies.
Okay.
I mean,
like
that
spy
is
dramas.
and I love a James Bond. I mean, I'll see it. But my favorite moments in James Bond are always those little wink wink, nudge nudge moments of humor that kind of work in. But I think that the spy genre is just rife with opportunities to do things that are ludicrous, over the top,
So
and therefore
dumb.
kind of funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's it. that's why I like spy movies, is because you can get a wide range of movies. Like the James Bonds are kind of like, some of them are kind of ludicrous too, is like all the gadgets and stuff that they have. Even like the Mission Impossible ones are a little bit ludicrous, even though honestly, pound for pound, probably one of the best series of
It's
spy
pretty good.
movies.
Yeah.
It's like they're all solid films. But then you do get great comedies like Spies Like Us. I think is actually a hilarious film, although I haven't watched it in years, so I should probably rewatch it. And Spy with Melissa McCarthy.
Oh, that is a good movie. Yeah,
fucking hilarious.
Spy is a funny movie. Okay, I like a spy drama. I don't know. I'm fascinated by spies. I've read a lot of John le Carre. I've read a lot. Like, I don't know that. Again, perhaps I want to be a spy, but I've always been fascinated by like that kind of genre of
Another movie that I've never seen that I really, really want to, and it's been on my list for years, and I've never gotten around to it, and so maybe I finally will, is Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy.
Oh, it's
Never
so
saw it.
you have to read the book too. The book is just as good, but the movie is
Okay.
excellent.
Yeah, that is one that it's never, it's just one of those things that I've always meant to see and I never have, and maybe I finally will. I think I'll love it,
Oh
but
yeah, it's
anyway.
excellent.
Yeah.
That's up there with like top spy novels and top spy novels and top spy films, both excellent. Okay, are you guys ready for some fun facts?
Sure, always.
There were a lot for this movie, which I always love. So comedian Sam Kinison, remember him, who was dating Penny Marshall at the time.
What?
LOL.
What?
Wait,
Ew.
It was the 80s.
Penny? Ew.
Was offered the role of Jack.
What?
But Whoopi Goldberg nixed the deal, causing Marshall and Kinison to end their relationship and starting a bitter feud between Kinison and Goldberg.
100% Team Whoopi.
Yes.
Isn't that a wild sentence to say?
Team Whoopi. I didn't know any of this shit. What the fuck?
I was dying when I read that.
I mean, maybe Sam Kinison wasn't Sam Kinison all the time, so maybe he was dateable, but like I just can't see him as a human being you would want to date. Like,
clearly his onstage persona was a persona. No one's that angry all the. I mean, I'm sure Lewis Black can be, a gentle, kind person at times, but when he's on stage, he has to yell and scream. But ew. No, and at the end, if Sam Kinison had shown up and I was supposed to believe that was our romantic, no.
Oh my god, you would have got into a coma.
Oh god, ew.
Well, we would have had to listen to his narration when in all the scenes with her,
or like a fake British accent.
Absolutely not. No. Team Whoopi. Whoopi, if you're listening to this, I support you 100%.
Yeah, you were right. You were right. According to Penny Marshall's memoir, My Mother Was Nuts, the script had numerous versions. Nancy Myers and Charles Shire wrote one for Shelley Long as the star. And
I can totally see that.
I can see she's kind of like that bumbling. She does that bumbling sort of very well. And then apparently there was a version by David Mamet, which was filled with profanity.
Listen, it would have been a completely different film, but okay.
Yeah.
I mean, civilian gets caught up in spy shit, okay. Whoopi would not have. I mean, it would have been an Al Pacino vehicle.
Right, or something. Diane Keaton stars in David Mamet's Jumpin' Jack Flash.
I mean, I guess the Shelley Long one, her character would have been more like
prissy.
But prissy, kind of like True Lies.
Like housewifey, right? Like a little bit more housewifey. Yeah, I think so.
That's how I would have imagined that.
I do love True Lies. That is a great movie.
I love that movie.
This is Penny Marshall's only R-rated film.
Why? I mean, why is this R-rated?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna.
I have no idea.
That's
great question. I don't know. There's a lot of killing. I don't know.
There's barely any profanity. There's really only killing at the end, honestly. Actually,
I mean, you do see the body floating in the East River with a big bullet hole in the chest. I mean, but again, that wasn't necessary. I'm surprised they didn't just trim a little bit and go for the PG, because it could have been. This should have been a PG rated movie. Yeah. I didn't even realize it was R rated. Yeah. When did PG-13 show up?
I don't know. Great question. I don't know.
I
thought it
think a
was the
little bit
80s.
before this. I think it was the early 80s. So it could have been PG-13.
It
Sure.
definitely was around when I was like watching movies. So yeah,
Yeah.
probably early 80s, maybe mid 80s. And I just kind of shout this out because a version shown sporadically on WTTG TV in Washington, which is Channel 5, is heavily edited and has numerous bits of dialogue and key scenes removed, including the conversation between Terry Doolittle and Liz Carlson in the kitchen.
What happened in the kitchen?
That's when she like first goes after the funeral. Or no, she goes over there and they're
Yeah.
making cookies. I don't know. That
Baking the cake, yeah.
yeah. It does establish that Liz is like, oh well, my husband's out there too, and it gives the story a little bit more heft and it sort of establishes a friend for Terry.
But why was it
Liz.
removed? I mean, what's controversial about that?
I don't know if it was controversial. They just were like editing for time, but I thought that was
But
Okay.
then, like,
All right.
the embassy scene makes absolutely no sense because then you don't know that they know each other.
right.
That's bizarre.
I mean, if you see them walk away from the funeral together,
I guess, but it doesn't establish a real relationship. That's weird.
see, this is why this movie got bad reviews, because people watch these fucking chopped up versions. And
Correct.
it made no sense.
Okay, it is game time. I went a little different. I was trying to do something a little different for the game. So the game is called The Spy Who Shagged Me, which shout out to my favorite spy, Austin Powers. Pick a famous movie spy. If you decide to pick James Bond, great, but you have to be specific in both actor and the movie that you're modeling this James Bond on. You're dropping them into this movie plot. How do things change? Cast a character or two, and who is singing the theme song? So, Eric, you do the cold open. So, Matt, I'm going to start with you.
Okay. I like a lot of your games. This one was a thinker because I had to sit down.
I never make it easy. I'm so sorry. That's why I did the outline early for that reason alone.
So I think I came up with something good because part of the problem with introducing another spy is you really do change the story and make it complicated. I felt. So what I did is I just added a sub story.
Okay.
So I brought in Octopussy, played by Maud Adams.
Okay. I mean, I just like to say Octopussy. It's just a fun
in the
name to say.
titular role of
Yep.
her movie. But what she is, because she plays a Russian spy in that movie. So she's working on Doug, played by John Lovitz, to create a backdoor into the banking system for the Russian government to smuggle money around and then track large-scale banking for blackmail. And so
Okay.
she's trying to get him to let her into the building so that she can actually create this backdoor for the Russian government. And that's going to be my subplot. So then now Whoopi and Doug are trying to have to figure out their times at night to sneak back in to the building so that they can just kind of ignore each other. And my theme song, and when I realized that she had never done one, I was kind of shocked because I think she's perfect for it. Fucking Annie Lennox is going to do my Bond theme song.
Oh, I like that.
For this
I like
movie.
that.
And that was it. I went simple.
Okay. I love it. Eric.
So we've already mentioned this famous movie spy already, but I again, because I was in a comedy mode and this is a comedy.
Yep.
So I chose Susan Cooper, played by Melissa McCarthy from Spy, to show up. You would meet her when Whoopi comes in at the very beginning and says hi to the security guard, Otis. Sitting next to Otis is Melissa McCarthy as another security guard. And the two of them have the most random, weird conversations about hygiene and also just it's a little bit of a borrowing from Melissa's character from Bridesmaids a little bit. She's crude, she's
Gross.
rough, she's a security guard, she works in New York City, she doesn't give a shit. She and Otis are just sitting there talking about all kinds of weird bullshit and also staring at people doing fun things together on the screens the way Otis was already doing, making lots of comments and just kind of being typical. And at the very end, when all is lost and John Wood's got a gun to Whoopi's head, all of a sudden Susan Cooper, CIA, hit the deck. And Otis is like, what the fuck? Like, he just thought this was my friend from decades who is a former security guard and she's a fucking CIA agent. So that was that. Okay, so I'm going to do a little callback for who's going to do my theme song. I'm doing a little weird. So this is obviously a Whoopi vehicle. I'd mentioned before that my favorite Whoopi performance was actually Celie in The Color Purple. And I'm going to bring a little bit of that energy back and have Cynthia Erivo, who I
Oh,
saw play Celie
Ooh.
in The Color Purple
okay.
on Broadway, but obviously is now famous for belting out Defying Gravity. She's got a powerhouse voice. She could do an awesome. That's who I'm going to have doing my theme song.
That's
I
good. That's a
like it.
nice callback. Come back around. Okay, so I probably wrote this with what I ended up doing in mind. I'm actually not picking a spy. I'm picking like a tangential character to a spy movie. So instead of John Wood, the big baddie is going to be played by Dr. Evil. Mike Myers is evil alter ego in the Austin Powers movie, which by the way, I saw the first one in the movie theater, and I still don't know if I've ever laughed that hard in a movie
It's a
theater.
great
It's
movie.
such a good movie. And I wasn't like as familiar with the James Bond stuff when I first started watching that. So like now that I've seen some James Bond, it's even funnier. He's just Mike Myers is a genius.
I'm just going to say, the minute I heard Basil exposition, I died. I died and went to heaven.
It's all just so good. Because it's James Bond movies are so ridiculous, as you said before, Matt. So it takes to the nth degree. So Dr. Evil is my big baddie. He works in the British Embassy. I am definitely bringing back Seth Green as his son. He'll play the Thor with a thumb character, kind of the henchman. And I am not bringing back Mini Me because the actor who played Mini Me is canceled. So um so it's just gonna be, I mean, Whoopi and Mike Myers as Dr. Evil, hilarity ensues. It's just gonna be even more tongue-in-cheek than it already was. And then singing my theme song, I had picked this before the big events of this week. When we were recording this, there was a big old reveal with Madonna and my theme song singer Sabrina Carpenter, because I feel that a lot of the Bond movies lately have chosen up and coming female stars. Adele did one, Billie Eilish did one, and so I feel like Sabrina Carpenter has that kind of like fun humor. She's very cheeky, she's very tongue in cheek, and I feel like this movie is fully ridiculous, so she could do a fully ridiculous theme song. So
Man-Child is a bop,
it
and
is. That whole
and the
album is great.
and the men of the world deserve that song. So
Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah.
She was wonderful on the one-off Muppet Show from Seth Rogen.
Was she? I didn't watch it,
She was
but
great.
yeah,
Loved her. She was great.
she's like a performer. I love that.
Yeah, it was a kickback to the old original Muppet Show, and she just fell right in with the whole vibe. It was great.
Yeah, I love her. I mean, she's a Disney star, right? So she's got that kind of whole package scenario, like an Ariana Grande or a Demi Lovato. So, but I don't know. I just she's so clever in the way that she writes her songs, where you have to listen to it a couple of times, and you're like, oh, that's what she's. Okay, Sabrina. And I love that.
And one shout out for Austin Powers. I really hope that they do a fourth film where Scott Evil is actually the big bad trying to take down the world, and Dr. Evil and Austin Powers have to team together to stop.
I would like
So it's
that.
like X2 X-Men United.
Yeah,
that's
in
where
the
it's
Austin
going.
Powers universe.
Yeah.
I love it. I mean, I would love Austin Powers. I will always watch an Austin
I
Powers
know the
movie.
third movie is not beloved as much as the other two, but nothing is funnier than Nathan Lane lip syncing to Beyonce in the club. Oh my God. So funny. And also when she comes out and her hair's all wet and he's horrified, and then she like shakes and it's like the afro is back to perfection. Beautiful.
I mean, I do quote "Toit like a Toiger" probably bi-monthly. So, I don't love the third movie as much, but I definitely still quotable.
It had moments. It had moments. I mean, Goldmember was disgusting, but that was the point. He was cringy. It's cringe humor. It's fine. I mean, he's not any more disgusting than Fat Bastard was.
No, and let me tell you, I was quoting we were all quoting Fat Bastard during that time too. So
get in my belly.
It's like a turtle head coming out. I mean, mole, mole, mole. Okay, this is not an Austin Powers podcast, but it probably should be. Okay, skip, rent, or buy. Skip means I wish I'd never seen it. You're so mean, Allie. Rent means I'm cool. It was a great use of a couple of hours, and buy means absolutely I love this movie so much. Heart. So Eric, we'll start with you.
I'm gonna just be a real solid, happy, joyful rent
Love
on
it.
this one. I don't need to see it again. It was, I think I got pretty much all that I needed to get out of one viewing of this one. But boy, I had a great time until the last 30 seconds of the movie, in which I was filled with rage.
At least it made you feel something, though, right?
Yeah. Hey.
I guess I can say that about 2025. At least it made you feel something. For me, it was a total rent. Yeah, like I can't see adding this to my catalog and watching it like once every couple of months. But if somebody was like, "Hey, I've never seen this. Let's watch it," I would sit down and watch it again. It's a fun movie. There's nothing wrong with it. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, great. Not surprising. I'm a buy. I love this movie. It's probably like 6th or 7th time I've watched it. I actually saw my dad yesterday, who is the person that introduced me to this movie, and I told him that we were recording this podcast, and he immediately started laughing thinking about the movie. And so, I remember how funny it was. It absolutely held up. I was a little nervous. I was hoping that it wasn't going to be like a money pit scenario where it was so beloved in my head and then turned out to be total shit. No, it's still very beloved. I will watch it on any rainy day, or when I just need a pick me up and, just need to belly laugh for
I will tell you, if I could just toss in with it, the movie that did that for me, Your Money Pit, is my soap dish. Loved
doesn't hold
soap
up?
dish. The ending is so offensive.
I might have to watch
I
that
mean,
today. I love
we
Soap
have
Dish.
we have learned about
Oh, no.
transgender people now.
Oh, yeah.
And the idea that the entire setup of all the stuff is that Carrie Moriarty is actually a trans woman, and therefore she is the butt of every joke, and we will just laugh at her
Oh.
for being trans. It is so disappointing. But the movie up until that is still, it absolutely holds up. It's just as brilliant as you remember it being. And then the ending is like, oh, we can't celebrate this movie anymore.
It's kind of like when I watched Bring It On recently, and I was like, this is a very homophobic movie. And I did not remember that. And I was like, ooh, I can't say that it's a top movie for me anymore because
Yeah,
it's
I
so
mean,
blatantly homophobic. Like,
and
it's
yet
awful.
Soap Dish lives in my,
Yes.
heart of hearts so fun. I mean, I talk about quoting, don't hover, come in or get out.
Yeah, yeah.
Every week I say that to somebody. But yeah, it's the ending breaks your heart. It aged like bad milk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's why we
Anyway,
do this podcast, right? But
Jumpin' Jack Flash.
I'm pleased to say that nobody was harmed in the making of Jumpin' Jack Flash.
No,
It's still just as funny.
Yeah. And my rage was, that's an Eric thing, but
And that's also like a universal thing, yeah, right?
Yeah.
Like that has nothing to do with anybody being any sort of phobic in the end.
No.
Okay, speaking of terrible people, terrible things. Next up on our next episode is the quintessential camp classic, Mommy Dearest. I'm very excited. I haven't seen this movie in probably 10 years, so I can't.
Bring me the axe.
Just a how-to in parenting, like
yeah.
Really.
I mean, it's definitely what you want to do. I mean, none of us here are parents, but it's definitely what we want to do for sure. It's a real primer.
If Christina just took care of those clothes that cost Joan a lot of money, we would not be having this conversation.
Correct. She wasn't a little brat. But we'll get into all of that next episode. In the meantime, I'm Allie.
I'm Eric.
I'm Matt.
Be kind. Rewind.
You've been listening to The Rewind Project. You can find us wherever you get your podcasts, including Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Radio Public, and Google Play. Please subscribe and rate us. It helps a lot. We love your comments and questions. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and via our new phone number at 202-618-2402. Thanks for listening. Be kind. Rewind.
out now?
It is. Their third and fourth season should be coming out soon. Yeah.
Okay.
The first and
And
second.
it's like a
actually, I think
prequel, right? It's like it's the Starship Enterprise before
How do you
Kirk. And
know this, Eric? Jesus
Well, it's
Christ.
because I'm friends with Matt Graff.
it's Captain